welcome back to another episode for Legal Lounge. We're back again. Cody, how are you?
I'm back.
You good?
Back again. Guess who's back?
Oh my god.
Back again. My name is Cody. I'm the co-host. If this is your first episode, tune in. Yeah, my name's Cody. I'm the co-host here at the Legal Lounge podcast. And this is
Carinza. I'm the host of the show, and then we talk about cases. We work for the law office of Brian Fagan. We handle family cases, CPS, custody, divorce. We also do criminal defense cases, estate planning, and probate. So, if you've watched previous shows, we've, kind of dissect some popular
cases, popular things going
Which,
on.
speaking of which, we did a Diddy episode. Did you hear he got arrested a couple days ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I also heard that they found like a ton of baby oil around the place.
It's like 1,000 baby oil.
Yeah, that's insane.
They found that they seized. And then I think Diddy was trying to put $250 million for a bond or something crazy number. Don't quote me.
That's insane.
And then the judge denied it. Like, nope.
That's crazy.
So he's still incarcerated right now at the moment. So I think, I think it's going to be an ugly case. So once it kind of settles over, I think we need to retouch up on that topic again and we can talk about it more. But if you haven't looked at that one, please, look at it. We talk about different cases aside from criminal defense, of course. We even had Haley on to talk about, criminal defense cases and what her life and role has it been as a defense attorney.
Haley's an attorney here at the office, ex-prosecutor and now criminal defense attorney. So she had some cool points too. But yeah, in this episode,
we're talking about, this is a little bit more different, not really much of a criminal case, but we're diving deep about this little girl who had a chronic disorder it was a pain syndrome, also known as CRPS. Her name is Maya Kowalski. I hope I'm saying that right.
CRPS stands for?
It stands for Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. So that's what she was diagnosed, but she was undiagnosed for a while her family took her to multiple doctors and they couldn't figure out where that pain was coming from. And there's a documentary on Netflix called Take Care Maya. And then it talks about their journey of what happened, and then it's a little bit sad ending. But we wanted to dive and talk about that because it involves, the state involvement of what's too
CPS
much.
Involvement.
Right, CPS involved. What's too much and what's not too much when it comes to the state being involved in between, how you should take care of your kids and what's considered as abuse and not
how
abuse.
to not take care of your kids, which I think
right.
Some of our videos we've talked about. This one, I think it's more so the fault of the healthcare, right? The
hospital.
The hospital. Yeah, and possibly CPS too. So
let me kind of give you a little bit of background. So again, Maya Kowalski, she was 9 when she started experiencing intense unexplained pain, primarily in her limbs. And then the doctors initially struggled to diagnose her condition. So her mother, Beata Kowalski, she is a registered nurse, conducts extensive research and advocates strongly for her daughter. After many consultations with different doctors, Maya is now, diagnosed with CRPS, also known as Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. It's a neurological disorder that causes extremely pain and disproportionate to any injuries. So her parents, Jack and Beata, they researched different doctors and hospitals to see where she can get treatments.
Like specialists.
For this, right. And they found a doctor in Mexico who can do ketamine infusions to help relieve that pain. But it wasn't a known, treatment in the U.S., so when they traveled to Mexico and do this infusion, it did help relieve her pain. She was able to walk again. If you ever paid attention to the video in that documentary, like her her arms and like legs are literally stiff. So she had a hard time walking when she was first diagnosed, but that ketamine treatment helped her relieve that pain. But soon after that, when they returned, she had another flare up. So then her parents took her to Johns Hopkins Hospital in St. Petersburg, Florida. And at the hospital, her mother requests ketamine treatments based on their prior success. But the hospital staff, especially Dr. Sally Smith, unfamiliar with the aggressive ketamine use, became concerned about Maya's care. And they suspect Munchausen syndrome. It's a rare form of child abuse where a caregiver, often the mother, fabricates or induces illness in a child for attention or other benefits. So because they thought the mom coming in saying that, oh, you have this syndrome, you're abusing your child, they ended up keeping Maya in the care of hospital, and the state got involved then to investigate a possible child abuse of Maya's parents, and they kept her away from parents for months. And ultimately, unfortunately, that ended in Beata, her mom, to commit suicide. So that's basis around what happened with that case. And then, of course, the crazy part is 5 days later, after the mom passed away, they released custody back to the dad. Just like that. So it's very, very, very sad. It's unfortunate.
Was the dad active in the like hospital stuff, do you think?
She was, but it was more so mom that was like heavily trying to push, like, my daughter needs this treatment. My daughter needs this. And they were like, you're crazy. You have Munchausen. And so they called the state, and then the state got involved, and they did not give access to her daughter to the mom at all. They were
only supervised like calls.
Right. Not even visitation. The dad was allowed visitation for a little bit after.
So it was mainly against the mom.
Do you know what Munchausen is? So it's like a mental illness, basically, to where you inflicting like manipulative,
like making them think that they're sick and they're not sick.
Right. And they're like forcing down, like, oh, well, my child needs, like Gypsy Rose. Well, my child has 20 cavities, so all her teeth need to be pulled out. Even though that may not be the case, but you're basically doing this to, I believe the mom even got like a bunch of state help. So financial help, the state would pay her because she has disability or whatever, even though she was a perfectly fine kid. You force down this, oh, there's something wrong with my kid has this, my kid has cancer, my kid has this, so you need to do this to get benefits, attention, whatever. So they thought that it was the same thing for her case. And interesting enough, at the time when Beata was taking Maya to the hospital, Gypsy was going to prison for killing her mom because of the abuse that she was going through. So I think at the time maybe it was in their head, like, oh, this must be the similar case with Gypsy Rose.
Yeah, so, that's crazy.
How do you feel about the state involvement in cases like this with child abuse?
I feel like if CPS was involved, then the state should have an investigation and like an interview and question the mother and have a psychological evaluation if like the mother really is abusing the child, or if she's just very passionate about helping her child, which, I mean, obvious case, most mothers, most parents are going to be very passionate about helping their child if something's really wrong with them. But I feel like, I don't know, like, I don't know anything about how the CPS investigation went, or if the CPS also were like, oh, you're kind of saying all these things are wrong and there's nothing really wrong. Like, I don't know how that aspect is and whether or not CPS failed as.
I think the investigation was still ongoing at the time. So it never really closed out. And typically with CPS cases too, at least for Texas, I don't know about Florida or any other states, but it's typically, depending on how severe the case is, it could take up to 2 years to really finalize a case.
Wouldn't you want to stick that out for the health of your child? I think it's just a sad ending. It's like,
it is.
How do you view that part?
Right. So I think there's
because you don't know what type of trauma and like what type of stuff that she was going through at the time. But if you're extremely passionate about getting your child help,
right,
now she can't do anything to get her child help.
Right.
So where is that like into play? Like, and what caused it? You know, because I think there's a lot of parents out there that would do anything to get their child help. And that's where I think that they could probably relate if that child really does have that syndrome, which I think you said she's diagnosed with it, right?
With the pain, yeah.
So it's like I just don't get that. And why not?
Maybe the mom thought that you did all. It's like it's almost like I failed as a parent, to where she couldn't handle the guilt. All she wanted to do was to help her daughter get better and find a treatment.
Maybe she thought that she would never get to see her daughter again.
Right. So it's like, well, why stick around? Although, like, months, I don't know.
But
I'm
when
not.
CPS does investigations, isn't the child still in the care of
It
the
depends.
parents?
It depends on the situation. So, like,
But
let's
like most
say,
of them,
yeah,
most of them they
they'll
are, right?
immediately take the kid out. If there is something that there for sure
Dire
is
need,
something.
yeah, like
Right.
sudden, like something that's like, okay, this is definitely happening. We at least need to
Right.
protect.
But it's the hospital that kept her there. So it's kind of like the underlining of.
Was it the hospital or was it CPS?
Right, because I don't think really the state got heavily involved in it that far into it until, like I said, the mom unfortunately passed away. So I think there's that. And then even Maya, too, came out after the fact that she was claiming sexual abuse from the hospital staff. They made her strip down naked. And then there was a surveillance camera that was watching her at all times. So it was just those weird things that was happening also. So with that came into play. Ultimately, they won the lawsuit. The family came back and filed a lawsuit against the hospital. And then Dr. Sally, in particular, she was the lead child abuse pediatrician at the John Hopkins Hospital, which raised concerns about, Mila's treatment and her mother. And so she was the one that initiated the investigation and called the Child Protective Services suspecting medical child abuse. Of course, especially the Munchausen syndrome. And then, yeah, so it just, because of her involvement, the family came back and sued them for, I don't know, actually, let me see if I have that actual suit, but it was against the hospital, claiming the hospital's actions directly led to the suicide of Beata Kolowski. Wrongful accusation of medical child abuse. So the family argued that the hospital wrongfully accused Beata of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. And then ultimately they were able to settle $261 million in court to be awarded to the Kolowski family.
That's a lot. I mean, how much is a life cost? A
I
life
know.
worth?
And I think that's what family is saying, that it doesn't matter
What money they give them, they just
Right.
want ownership.
You can't get their mom back, So,
That's crazy.
but yeah, but it's just, I mean, the CPS is always a conversation all the time, to where is CPS doing too much? Are they too involved, or are they not involved enough to protect the kids? And then sometimes, if they are heavily involved, the kids walk away with trauma just going through the system alone. And a lot of times kids get re-victimized within the foster care system because they're pulled away from their parents. Or even
put in homes that aren't loving, I guess, to say.
I have a friend of mine. She went through a CPS case when she was really young, and so she remembers the exact moment when she had to go in front of the judge as a kid. Like, I think she was like 5 or 6, and had to testify to the judge, what she's went through, whatever. They didn't find any abuse in their home, but she remembers that feeling of being in court as a child, talking about, the questions that they're asking you, especially if it's like a sexual allegation, like
that's intense.
That's a heavy topic,
Yeah. Even adults can't even do that.
Yeah.
So just to think like a child is absurd,
Right.
having to do that. Yeah, Gypsy Rose, she went through a lot too, but that was in the actual case of the parent doing the, what is it, abuse of medical
Right. So she actually did, have Munchausen syndrome.
Mhm.
So because she was fed up with the abuse that she was going through at her family home, ultimately decided to kill her mom. Do you think that was justified? Do you think that was the best, I don't know, reaction to get out of her situation?
I mean, that's like when I think about it, it's like if you can come up with an entire plan to kill the person that is locking you down, right? Did the guy have any part to play in the killing of the mom? Because she has some
Um,
like online boyfriend, right?
I don't.
So
I think they kind of both talked about it. Correct, if I'm not.
so if they can plot that and plan that strategy out and execute on it, why not just like try to run away and like stay away?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can get out of the home,
How old was she? Can you look that up?
like I don't know,
I
like
don't know a whole lot about Gypsy. Did she ever go to like a public school?
I don't know either. I don't know much about Gypsy Rose. I know. Let's see what the facts are,
Because
because I
like
know that
if you went to a public school, like for example, my mom is a
counselor.
teacher, right? Like if my mom has the obligation by
Hmm.
the state that if she suspects that there's an abuse going on, she has a job to call the protective services
Right.
and get them involved. Because then if she doesn't report it, she could ultimately lose the ability
Her
to,
license and stuff, right?
right? She
Yeah.
can't teach,
I mean, I doubt she went to public school. There's no way.
I doubt it. Because like the way her condition was and how she looked too, like if you see the
Hmm.
pictures of how she looks now compared to what,
Her mom would know that. I
yeah,
mean, you would know that it's not going to last for very long. You can't keep on doing this because now you have a public eye on you.
right.
But I don't know. I mean, she still killed somebody.
And
Given
then,
that that person was completely evil,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's another story, I feel like, but
But do you think she is a danger to the society?
Gypsy Rose,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What type of mental abuse does somebody have to go through to where they turn into a danger to society?
Because it's just like any women who may have gone through like domestic abuse, right? In order to get away, you kill the husband or their significant other to get away from the situation. But there has been cases to where they were able to walk off scot free because they justify that that was literally the only, not literally, but the one of the very few option for somebody who's been
It's
victimized to
almost
get
like
away
self,
from the
but that
situation.
also falls into self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
that's why, like legally, I think it turns into something else. But
So Gypsy Rose Blanchard was 23 years old when her mother, Dee Blanchard, was killed in June 2015.
she was 21.
23
So she was 23 years old.
when she killed her mom.
Yeah. And her boyfriend, Nicholas, was 26 years old.
So she had a whole boyfriend.
Yeah,
She
which
had
they're no
access.
longer with that guy anymore.
She had access to the internet. She had a boyfriend. She was 23 years old, so a full adult.
Right. So there's definitely motive there, right? I mean, it's not like you can't claim 10-year-old to be like, oh, I've learned this in cartoon. Like, she
Yeah.
can't claim that.
But at the same time, you have to keep in mind the like composition of her brain could be affected by all of that
Oh, for
too.
sure.
That's such a tricky thing though, because it's like you're 23 years old.
Can you look up the legal, I guess, term as to why they were able to found her not guilty and was able to, well,
Guilty
I think she was found guilty,
because
but
she went to
then,
prison.
right, but she was released. They overturned her conviction, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't quote me, guys. I saw you guys on comments.
Yeah,
Do your research. Look.
I saw that too. I saw that too.
We try the best we can, but sometimes we blank out.
I saw somebody in the comments say that they broke up with their girlfriend because they left. They ate half of a banana and then rubber banded it and left it on the counter, and there were gnats. I was like, hey, gnats gotta eat too.
I love these comments though. I love when people engage with
Yeah.
it though. So that do make me happy.
For sure.
Did you find it?
Yep. So Gypsy Rose was charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action for her involvement in the killing of her mother,
Mm-hmm.
and she was released on parole
Mm.
after a 10-year sentence.
So
Wait,
why
she
did they
served
find
10
her
years?
guilty?
Hmm?
Do you know why they found her guilty? Like, what was the reason that she was found
Because
guilty?
she was an accomplice.
Right.
It was her boyfriend who killed her
What
mother.
was the initial sentence time, though? Because I wonder if she's released because she did enough time.
Because the boyfriend would obviously get charged. Because, like, you had no involvement in it. You weren't the
So
one being
I guess
neglected and
I guess we can
abused.
look up the time for second-degree murder. You know.
Well,
I
that
think it is.
depends, though.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, why they found her guilty.
Because she obviously committed the act. You can't
Right.
reverse that. You know what I mean?
I
I'm pretty
mean-
sure she pled guilty for that.
So maybe if she would have done it herself, that would have been a different story.
She probably may have gone there longer. Is that what you're saying?
Either that or maybe it would have been justified.
Mm. Also, you were saying that because she planned this with somebody else,
Okay.
it looks more guilty.
So
It's not. She plans. It's like if you have an abusive husband and you hire somebody to murder your husband.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's the same thing. It's
Yeah, because in
there's a
that
word for
case,
it.
maybe do a different research. Don't research hitman. Research how can I go to a women's shelter?
Yeah, or something else. You know.
So, second-degree murder on the United States carries a sentence between 10 years to life imprisonment. And so, for example, for Gypsy Rose, she received a 10-year sentence for second-degree murder, and that's it, due to the abuse that she suffered. So it was like the minimum
The
sentence,
minimum.
Mm,
and she only completed 80% of it.
mm.
So that's why she got on parole in 2023.
Oh, okay, so it didn't reverse a conviction or anything
Yeah.
like that. It was just her did the time. She owned up to it, and then now she's living her life.
That's intense.
I think she's married now and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
she's just, I mean, she
They face a lot of backlash, I think, on social media too.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely 50-50. There's people that are happy for her that she's released, and there's other people that doesn't agree to that.
I mean, I think now my own personal, I don't think I can have a personal opinion on it, but I think by law, there's a way to do things. And There's
Yeah.
a way not to do things. And I think technically her action falls under the way of not to do things.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, if she could have a whole boyfriend and have an online boyfriend, what's stopping her from
Because she
trying
was
to
like,
find help?
she was a,
Or
she-
like leaving or
she,
running away. Something.
I watched a video of her talking about going to the movies and stuff like that with her boyfriend at the time, you know? So she was allowed to do certain things. I'm sure it was very restricted. I think the mom went to the movies with them. But I don't know.
I mean, what's the mom gonna do if she has a whole boyfriend there? You know,
Yeah.
she has a whole boyfriend there. What if if they're just like, no, we're gonna stay, and the mom's like, no, come with me. Like, what would the mom do in that situation? I feel like there could be maybe ways that they could get into the public eye. You know, call the cops,
I mean, I get you. I think
make a
there
police
was
report.
definitely options available.
You know, so it's like, do you really have to go, or did it come from the hatred and
Maybe that
the
because
problems of
okay,
she was
so
like, she made me
you-
go through all of this. I have so much hate for you. I want you to cease to exist. And then they
so
committed
what? So
acts.
what if she runs away? Mom is still there, you know.
Run away, and then if the mom tries to
And
make
just-
a police report, oh, my daughter ran away. She has all these medical issues. Now you get to talk to the police.
And then what if the state gets involved and be like, well, you need to go back to your mother because you have this, and
But
she
she's
has
23.
Now,
She's an adult.
again, we don't know, but
doesn't have to go to
even
her
if
mother.
you're an adult, your parent can still be a guardian over you. And at that point, I don't want to say ownership, but the rights are still within your parents, just like in, special needs
But if
child.
you don't want to go home, you don't have to go home.
Right,
It's your
but
place of residency, yes. You live with your mom, yes. But do you have to go home? By law, if I wanted to go to Europe and I'm 18 years old,
right, but you don't have a disability that the mom was claiming Gypsy has. Why the mom has to be involved in her life at all times.
but what if then they had to go to a psychiatric hospital, then run tests, do the test, and it comes out, oh wait, you don't actually have all these things that your mother is saying that you have. You know?
But then what kind of opportunity did she have to even go that far to get the evaluation done when the mother is literally by her tail everywhere she goes?
That's true. But if yes, but at the same, I mean, what if you're, because I was about to go to, what if you're too scared to even try to do something like that to get away from your mom?
Probably, because at that point
Well,
it
you're
was
too scared to do
probably
that.
mentally so heavily manipulated to where I'm pretty sure Gypsy believed it herself too.
But what if you're too scared to go and try and find help, but you're not scared enough to commit?
True.
Like,
But then is that an influence by the
conspiracy of
boyfriend?
murder.
I mean, is there an influence that pushed her to do that? Because maybe he was saying, maybe this is their option.
Maybe he's crazy too. What is his case?
Probably.
What is he still in jail?
I don't know.
He's probably still in prison. If she got 10 years, why would he not if he committed the actual act?
I thought she committed the actual. God
Did
damn
she?
it. I don't know. See, this is why we need to fact check. I'm pretty sure she did, if I'm not mistaken.
Have you watched the documentary?
Just a little bit, but not like a
I didn't
paying
get to watch the
attention.
documentary.
Okay, so Nicholas was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Oh, so he
probably
did it.
committed it, and she was in conspiracy.
Yeah, and he didn't took a plea deal. He went to trial.
Oh, he did?
So he
Yeah.
tried to fight for the right to be free.
Mm-hmm.
That's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they found him guilty.
Yes, because he was the one that physically carried out the murder.
Mm.
Yeah.
And she just helped?
She was just there, like she was just an accomplice.
Conspiracy.
You know?
She knew about
Conspiracy and murder.
Gotcha.
it.
That was her plan.
Damn, man. Imagine a kid growing up like that.
Yeah, it's insane. Imagine having a parent like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm saying. And we talked about the we have a new episode coming on. I don't think it got dropped yet, but the school stuff
Mm-hmm.
about the recent events.
Well, by this one comes out, it'll be dropped by then.
Oh, okay. So we would have an episode out on the school stuff, and what I talked about in that was parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Parents need to do better.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that gray area of like how far can the state be involved in making sure the kid is saved, making sure the kids have a voice, and listen to that voice. Because the famous case that happened in California years back, Gabriel Fernandez,
Fernandez or Hernandez?
Fernandez. And he was a little kid, maybe a first grader, like 5-6-year-old. Going through heavily starvation, abuse, neglect by her mother and her boyfriend. And they made several calls to the CPS. The school did, but they didn't follow through the investigation properly. So they couldn't help him, and he ended up dying under the mom's care. So in those instances, like, you have to look at the laws within the state for the social workers to where obviously they failed. The state failed for him. But cases like Maya, obviously the child didn't die, but the mother died because it was overly involved into restricting visitation, like not even supervised, like visitation, only phone calls to your child who has a medical condition. Obviously, as a mother, as a parent, you worry about your child and you want to make sure your child is okay and taken care of and be under a hospital's care for months. You're restricted by doing your job as a parent.
Right.
So it's that gray area of what's too much and what's, not enough.
I guess I'm just curious on like what CPS did in that situation.
Yeah.
Okay, the medical place, they called CPS and got CPS involved. Now what does CPS do? Because there's no way they just took the word for it. Like, oh, you're saying that this is abuse. Okay, let's keep her with you guys for 5-6 months, and then that's it. There's just no way. You know,
I don't think
6
it was
months.
that's it. Like I said, I think it was still an ongoing investigation.
But
It
if
may
that's
have
the
just
case,
hasn't
then
done quick
why?
enough.
Then why not stick it
I
through for your
know.
child?
That's
you
what
know?
I'm saying. So it's like,
So now you didn't even get to see what the CPS like it doesn't. They don't even get to continue.
mm-hmm,
So now it's like to everybody else, it looks like there is nothing that it looks like. There
Mhm.
was no like there was no like way to be like, look, I didn't do anything and here's the proof. I went through the CPS
Mhm.
investigation. They ruled with me.
mm-hmm,
You didn't even get that chance anymore because of what she did. Now
right,
she doesn't even have a chance to speak her voice anymore.
right,
What she was doing in the beginning, she doesn't ever have a chance to do that anymore.
right.
So does that have to do with CPS or does that have to do with her?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough conversation to have too.
Because I don't know. I can't speak for it. I've never gone through this, but I would hope that I would not take that option. But it's just like sometimes you just never know.
Yeah, nobody's the same. So,
Right. The way you deal with
mhm.
that situations involving your child is, I mean, you can't compare it to what somebody's going through. Obviously, the mom was diagnosed with like depression, things like that. That came
Mhm.
out too. I mean, she was, upset this whole entire process. Nobody's listening to her. No, my daughter has this. My daughter needs this. They denied her. Oh, you're abuser.
So what did they suggest that the daughter needed though? Because obviously
Just,
she's not the only one in the United States that has that.
mm-hmm.
So what are the not cures, but what
I
are the
think they
things that
basically said
the
like she has
states?
to live with it. You know, you can minimize the pain
Mm,
by doing X, Y, and Z, but it's not going to go away. You know, this is a permanent condition
mm.
that somebody has. But then, like I
Because
said,
she went to Mexico for the infusion.
and it helped her. She had no more pain
So
for
why
a
not
year.
just keep on going to Mexico?
I mean, imagine how expensive that would get over time.
Just
So it's
move to
probably
Mexico then.
easier, to get it through the States.
But you can't get it through the States.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's a tricky story.
Or like, it could have been done. It's just a doctor wasn't allowing her to get that treatment.
And that's another story.
Yeah.
That's a different story for sure.
Yeah. Crazy. I don't know. It's just, it's difficult to think about, but like cancer, for example. There's so many treatments that's out there that's not FDA approved in the US, but it's definitely a practice in other countries. So people go there.
But then you have to think about what is FDA approved and what's not allowed in other countries.
Like, I really think that our country, there has to be a cure for certain things, but they withhold it on purpose to get more money, raise insurance. But it's a business at the
I
end
wish
of the
we
day.
would just treat everything like how we treated COVID. We got the best scientists all over the world to find a cure. Why don't we just do that?
Right. And look how fast they came up
And we
with a
just
vaccine.
go down the list.
They came up with it, less than a year to come up with a vaccine that got acceptable all over the world. But you can't do that for AIDS. You can't do that for cancer. There's no cure for those.
And
But you
other
can come
things,
up with a vaccine for COVID. I just,
What are you guys' thoughts on Ozempic?
What's Ozempic?
is that the diet?
Yeah.
The
Well,
diet
that's the
pills?
diet thing where like people are taking. No, I don't agree with that. There's
So
a
give
healthy
me-
way to do
So
something.
give me more info.
So Ozempic, in essence, is a hunger suppressant, very effective one. It's a like a needle, and you just pop it in.
So how do you know
Well,
when
so you
to
don't
eat?
get hungry?
Yes, it's a hunger suppressant, and so it was originally designed for diabetic patients, right, to help them regulate their insulin
Mm.
to help them lose weight. And so a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, Drake included, you remember that Kendrick Lamar
Mhm.
posted a picture of like supposedly Drake's Ozempic? A lot of people that don't need it use it just to like make weight, you know?
Mm.
But what's interesting is
To
that,
lose weight.
yeah,
Yeah.
to lose weight. I'm sorry, yeah.
There you go.
What's interesting is that it appears that it's like penicillin in the 1940s, you know? Like it's a miracle drug. Because
Mhm.
it's not only affecting you in a hunger suppressant way, it also affects you, like, for example, if you have bad habits, people on Ozempic that, you know, just start the process and then start losing weight, they also stop smoking and they
Mm.
also stop gambling addictions.
What?
It's
How?
new.
Is it mental?
Well, the effects are, it's a new drug. It's being studied, but it appears that it's like a miracle drug. It's like penicillin.
So how do you get prescribed? You just go to a dietitian, and they, if you say like, "Oh, I want to try this," they
It
can give it
depends
to
on the
you.
state. It
Oh, it's
depends on the
state.
state. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But you could get it. Like if you wanted to right now, you could get it. But,
Mm.
you know, of course, then you have to decide if
But
it's,
are you losing out on nutrients? Do you still? I mean, obviously you can still eat, but you basically it doesn't
you eat less. That's what it does.
because you
It suppresses your hunger.
Yeah.
does your stomach still growl?
Probably. I don't
Like
know.
does your body
See,
still
but
feel like you need
water
food?
is a natural suppressant.
Is it?
Yep.
Why? Because it makes you full if you drink so much. You could die from over drinking water too.
Yeah. And whenever you like, I feel like that's on the same thing as like when people starve themselves and they go on a water fast
Mm-hmm.
because it puts your body into the survival mode and starts going towards the energy and the fats that you already have in your body, and it uses up that source. So they don't eat.
So what's the difference? Like if you get a surgery to where you get an incision in your stomach to you don't have enough room to eat, so then like you
That
eat.
is insane to me.
I have a friend that did it, and
Why
then she
don't-
lost like hundreds of pounds.
Why not just like work on the discipline though to like not eat as
It's
much?
easier,
Yeah, but nothing's great ever comes easy.
but people, I mean, celebrities. Shoot,
but
if I have millions of dollars
Yeah,
and I
but
don't gotta
there's-
go work out, why do you think plastic surgery and
Well,
all
if you
this
got
stuff
millions of
happens
dollars, you should be able to get the best freaking trainer in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but
too? That means they're still lazy too.
you just
And
want to
that's-
cop out. Yeah.
But that's what I'm
Right.
saying is like it's the same thing with business owners. There's no shortcuts to a multi-million-dollar business. There's no shortcuts ever.
But if there's an
isn't
option that's
easy route.
available, people are gonna take it.
But that's
just
what I'm
like-
saying. But
Just like driving to work every single day. I'd rather take $99 and pay extra few dollars in toll fees to get to work rather than going stop and go. In 1960 for an hour and a half.
But that's different. It has nothing to
But
do
in
with
their
your body
mind,
composition,
it's the
your
same
mental
thing.
composition.
Why not just stick a needle
And what if
so
you
I
had
won't
to?
eat?
What if you had to stick a needle in you just to go quicker to work? Would you start doing that?
If I can fly, if I stab a needle and I can
No,
all of a
Just
sudden
if you
grow
could
wings to come to work, hell
No, just if you just stick your needle, your reaction time is gonna be better, so you're gonna be able to go to work quicker. But that needle's got like drugs, and it might help you with other things, but it might affect you negatively too.
What's the negative?
The negative is you're taking a medicine that has no studies behind it, and you don't know how it'll affect you in the long run.
Are they saying that there's no study? What's the con for this Ozempic? I
So
guess.
I'm not really sure, but there must be some
I mean,
con,
I'm sure you're
right?
not
Like,
getting the nutrients that your body need. Maybe your hair will start thinning. You know.
But that's what I'm
it
saying
must
is
have
one-
side effects, but
Everything has side
especially
effects.
if you're not taking it because you're diabetic. You're just taking it because you're a normal person and you're 30 pounds overweight and you just want to get it over with. You know?
So it can be like a quick solution. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
forever.
It doesn't have to be forever, but
But then
How quick?
But here's the thing: if you don't stay on it, you're just gonna
you
get
don't
bigger.
build the
again.
habits. You don't build the habits.
You don't build the habit.
So
you don't
you-
build the discipline, and then on top of that, What if you just decide to stop taking it?
Oh, so
now
you're
you're
saying
gonna start
that.
eating more. Now you're gonna gain more weight.
So you're saying that a smoker who took it stopped smoking, but then all of a sudden you don't take it anymore. You go back to smoking. Is that what you're saying?
That might happen. Yeah.
But it's not for that though. That's
Right.
just
Yeah, but
something that's
it's
a side effect.
it's a side effect, which is a good one, right?
Yeah.
Like
For now, it's a good one, but what if it ends
It's
up hurting
just
you in the long
temporary.
run?
Yeah.
You don't build the discipline. You don't build any of that, and it's like you take the shortcut, but
I think I remember reading a little bit about the negative side effects. So these types of pharmaceuticals, they affect your pancreas a lot.
Oh,
They're a
I
big
bet.
stress on it. So
Yeah.
it might be more probable in the future that you might develop pancreas cancer or something like that.
I'm
Liver
not taking
cancer.
those chances.
But you might die you might die first of a heart attack if you're, the weight that you are. So it's about choices.
Discipline.
I think it's, I think it's a valid choice if you want to do it, right? Because you're gonna die anyway, the weight that you are.
This is given that they're morbidly obese, right? Because you're saying that they're gonna die anyway. So for you to be able to be at that point to where you could possibly die, you have to be pretty obese.
I mean, but being 50 pounds overweight, that usually
That's not.
That doesn't mean you're
That doesn't mean
obese.
you're morbidly obese.
Yes,
That means
it
that
does.
no, it
50
doesn't.
pounds?
No, morbidly, meaning
100
that you could
pounds.
die.
Okay,
from
but
it.
you're obese. Like, still, you're taking
Medically-
years off of your life.
Medically obese, yes. Technically, I'm considered probably obese right now.
Me too.
So that's my saying. But do I think that I'm morbidly? Do I think that I'm gonna
No.
die because I'm at this weight right now? No.
Now, if you have
I've
a
dropped-
500-pound person that's sitting next to me,
That's different.
right? Then
That's what
yeah, come on now. Like your heart can stop any minute.
That's what I'm saying. So that's where it's like, okay, now you have to really weigh your options out.
Because how fast is the?
But
I don't know the
given-
progress when
given
you
that
start.
this
It
is-
depends on the person, but you're gonna lose weight. Like, for some people, it doesn't work. Of
Like
course.
it's noticeable within days or weeks, or is it months?
I don't know days.
It could be
but
days if they're not
But
eating.
I mean, if you're
Yeah.
if you cut your calories by half every day, by the month you're gonna see results. Right?
By
You're
the
gonna see
next
you're gonna
week.
drop 15 pounds.
The next week you'll
Yeah.
you'll see the result.
Yeah.
But this
3
is the same
pounds.
thing, right? You're gonna have the loose skin and all that stuff
Yeah,
still
yeah.
if you don't
Yeah.
work out.
And that's the thing is like, this is being idolized for people that are normal, people that are slightly
know.
overweight, not people that need it due to the health issues of being
I mean, it's the
obese.
same thing to where a lot of athletes, especially like gymnasts, I've heard that they would take pills that have what's that heartworm? Not heartworms. That's for dogs. But or tapeworms that they would eat up.
Oh, the food
Yeah.
before your large intestine can,
Yes.
small intestine can process it.
Right. So like some
But
parent,
then, how do you get the worm out?
I
You
guess
just
It goes
you just
out
go
when you
to
use the
you just
I
restroom.
guess
you just
so.
pop a Pepto-Bismol full
Mm.
and
But that's crazy too.
it out.
Like why people would go to extreme like that.
lengths. Yeah.
It's just sometimes I feel like it's a mental like.
I think just people like that, they never had the slightest crumb of discipline.
Mhm.
Had to have like that discipline. So it's like they don't know what it's like to be disciplined in an aspect to where it's like you have to lean into the pain. Nothing great ever comes easy. Everybody says that. Olympics, if that was the case, if we could take shortcuts, you know how many people would take shortcuts in bodybuilding competitions in the
Oh, yeah.
Olympics to become
Yeah.
the best athlete?
The-
That's why they have it regulated, because there's nothing great that ever comes easy.
Right.
You can't get a gold medal by taking medicine and just running quick just for that race.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know?
There's two sides of a coin. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very disciplined people that go to the gym every day, watch their calories, and then they take steroids. Like I know this one, which is like the best steroid. It's called clenbuterol.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that if you take that even one time, you're gonna build muscle like crazy. But the side effects are just as equally as bad.
Mm-hmm.
They say bodybuilders lose about 15 years of life,
Yeah, there was
and it's
a
usually their heart.
really
'cause that-
popular bodybuilder that died either this year or last
Piana?
year. Is he like
Rich piano.
Where's he from?
The U.S. I guess California. I guess.
Well, he's like pretty jacked, and everybody was saying he was really, really nice, and like
Every bodybuilder ever.
I mean, yeah, but like he ended up like passing away from some type of failure.
Yeah.
And there was like videos that came out before he passed away. There was like he doesn't look like you could see it like coming to get him.
Yeah, I saw it's Rich Piano.
Yeah,
I saw it.
But who's at fault for that? The pharmaceuticals that make these drugs available
They're not for humans.
regulated enough.
It's for horses. The steroids that they take. It's not for humans.
Why do horses need it?
Isn't ketamine for horses too though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horse tranquilizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like now you're putting it into your bones. Maybe that's why it's not approved in the United States.
But it's a low dosage that they approved to be safe.
I mean, yeah, but that's like, I don't know though, because even if it's a low dosage, it probably still has effects.
I mean, I could see both sides too, where like, okay, this can have a long-term effect. This may not be the safest option. And maybe in the mom's eye, this is the shortcut. Maybe this is the fast cure.
Or the only thing that she knows works, but it's like just because it's the first thing that it's accessible doesn't mean you should do it.
Yeah.
Or just because it's like, just because something feels right doesn't mean that you should do it. Like I don't know. This is too complex. I feel like my brain's about to explode. There's always two sides of the story, right?
For real, yeah.
Your daughter's in this pain. This is the only thing that you found that helped it for a little bit. But what are the long-term repercussions of that?
But it's at what point for a doctor or a hospital to say, oh, you can't do that. But what if I wanted it?
Well, what if it's just that? What if it was the mom that got that sense of relief, that small sense of, because I think anybody would make that decision of where it's like, okay, just for this short period of time, you get this sense of relief. I think most people would do that. Instant gratification, right? Most people do that. It has to do with alcohol, drugs, etc., smoking, whatever you want to call it, vices. Like it's that instant gratification that they get from that. It's also what takes away from discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, but just for a second, I could feel like this. Just for a second. Just a little sense of relief.
Yeah, because I don't think the ketamine infusion didn't cure the condition.
No, but it probably like minimized it for a little bit.
Right.
Until it didn't.
Right.
Now they're back in the States trying to find a doctor.
Right.
And then it's like, no, I need this. But it's like, I don't know. That's intense. There's definitely two sides to every story.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, would you guys take Ozempic? No?
No.
Yeah, you would. She would.
No.
I wouldn't.
I don't like taking medications.
I don't either. I don't even like
Period.
taking Advil, like none of that.
I try to be careful with that too.
I don't take
Not
none
even
of
a
that.
little melatonin
No.
to go to sleep?
No.
That's natural.
I could do a breathing technique to go to
I
sleep.
don't think that really works.
Melatonin? Or what?
I've taken like
How is it
melatonin
natural?
gummies.
Is your body producing, or do you
Melatonin.
have to eat something to get the melatonin?
I mean,
body?
it's a natural hormone. It's a sleep
I mean,
hormone.
yeah, but it's the same thing with creatine, right? Because I take creatine.
Mm-hmm.
I take the creatine pills, and then my pre-workout also has creatine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I'm still taking it,
Yeah.
But if we're talking about things, because we also have to understand, like, okay, melatonin, you could take the melatonin pills, and I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong.
It
I'm just
doesn't
saying,
really have side effects.
I wouldn't because
Just crazy dreams.
Yeah,
That's it.
I
What's
would
the
just do a breathing technique. I can do a breathing technique whenever I have trouble sleeping because my mind's still up and it's still going, and I stare at a screen. I'm playing games or I'm doing whatever, and then I finally lay down. When my body's ready to lay down, my mind's not. So then I do a breathing technique, and before I'm done with the breathing technique, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh.
What's that scientific term to where when you're testing something and you give somebody a fake pill, like a sugar pill?
The butterfly effect?
No. Butterfly
Or
effect is
the Mendola effect?
No. It's a part of a testing mechanism to where, let's say Ozempic. Hey, I'm giving everybody Ozempic to lose weight, and then we'll test to see who has the best results.
What this is
But
gonna do
then
is
what
it's
I'm
gonna
gonna
suppress your
inject
appetite.
you, I'm
And
just
then-
gonna inject you just basic shit. It's not Ozempic, it's not nothing. But
Mhm.
then in your mind, you start to believe it because, oh, this is Ozempic. I'm losing weight. You know what I mean? There's a term for that. So what if when you're,
I thought it was the Mandela effect or the
No.
butterfly effect.
no, butterfly effect is you change one little thing and then your whole entire outcome is different. There's a scientific term,
I think
but
it's
like same thing with melatonin. What if, oh, I'm
Mandela
taking
effect.
melatonin. No, it's not.
Oh shoot, no, it's not.
Placebos.
Yes,
Placebo.
The Mandela effect, bro. It's not the Mandela effect, bro.
Placebo.
it's a placebo.
That's like horn
The
of the
Mandela
loon.
effect was the description that you gave for the butterfly effect, so you were wrong. Too.
Whatever.
Mhm.
But that's what I was saying, like with melatonin, like, oh, I'm taking melatonin, so I'm gonna sleep good. So in your mind, you start to think that, oh, same thing with smoking or any kind of habits. I can't do this because I need this. So if I don't have this,
But
I'm
it's
not gonna be able to do
psychological.
this. That's what I'm saying. So same thing with melatonin. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna have a good night's sleep period unless I take a melatonin.
That's him.
I mean, it depends on what you use it for, honestly. Because I don't drink it every night. Because I've heard people that grow dependent on it.
Right.
So
Just
here's
like
the thing.
anything.
Why can't you have the same mindset when it comes to having a breathing technique rather than being like, oh no, it doesn't work. But
Right.
it comes out with
Every
a study.
person's different.
But watch this though. But if it comes out with a study and they do that, and they're like, yeah, this statistically has proven that if you do this, your sleep will improve
Mm-hmm.
by 90%. And then they test it and they'll be like, okay, do this. You guys should be able to get better sleep than the group that doesn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you those results will come out that those people end up doing it and having better sleep.
Yeah, but like medication and techniques and whatever it is, it doesn't work for all of the people, right? Because every person's different.
But the technique
Like
has to
there's
do
some
with
drugs that don't work on some people, right? I'm probably sure that some people on Ozempic have been on it 12 months and haven't lost a pound, you know? So for you, it works. For me, melatonin works, you know?
We got to look at that because you're just taking it without even knowing that this is supposed to be the effect of it. Then,
For me, it literally has to do with the composition of your mind and the chemical compounds of your mind
yeah.
and the psychological aspect. For you, it's like
That's fair.
You intake it and it's like, yep, this works.
Right.
But what if you had the same exact mindset to where is with what I was saying? I bet it'd be the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's just every person's different, you know, and what's gonna work for you,
But your
it's gonna
chemical
work.
compound and the like biological creation of your mind is the same. People's minds aren't built differently. Everybody has, unless you're disabled or have some sort of medical thing involved, the average mind has all the same components. You know, you have your frontal lobe and you have all the other lobes and all that stuff to where it's like, okay, whenever you breathe deep breaths like that, you release hormones in your brain. That does not happen for everybody.
Mm-mm.
It happens for everybody. You know, your body organs are built the same way and they react the same way.
I mean, sometimes, but for example, there's people with mental illness like depression, anxiety that don't produce a certain hormone
But that's a medical thing,
as
though. That's why
efficiently as you do.
I think this is circling back to the debate you guys had for like a month or two.
But it's different though,
Subconscious
because
mind.
that's medical. That's medical though. That
Yeah.
depression changes your hormones. That's factual.
Yeah.
So it's like it's different.
Yeah. Y'all are too funny. Because he was about to go there.
One of the next episodes, me and Mario will have a
We'll
Y'all
have
need to have a
we'll have a
debate.
scrap.
scrap.
Yeah.
You want
I'll-
to fight?
Ooh, I'll be
little debate.
in the background, and then I
don't
can give y'all
condone
debate topics, and then y'all just go at
Oh,
it.
that
Ooh,
would
a
be a
mini
good
episode?
episode.
Let's go.
No, not a mini episode, a full episode. Oh, I could do that for an hour easily.
Just
This guy
argue
never.
with me.
No, you see how he says argue with me? It's because you
That's
never
what
budge.
You're saying. That's what you're saying.
You never budge.
I could say
though.
the same thing about you.
But I'm open minded. You just have to explain it to me and show me how I'm technically wrong.
You see the manipulation? Like
Is that not
he calls
manipulation
me
in return?
Okay.
Look, see, that's why he stops because I can say the same thing, and now you look like the manipulator. So who's really the manipulator?
You're
here?
literally being manipulated. Okay, all right.
We need to do this
settle
for
down.
real.
All
Like,
right.
I'll be in the background. You know, I can work the camera, and then I'll give y'all debate topics, and y'all just go at it.
Yeah.
Debate with Cody and Mario.
Presidential debate.
Oh,
The presidential debate, and we both dress up in suits like presidents, but we don't talk about politics. We just talk about
oh, you're not gonna say how
No.
dogs are getting eaten and cats. And...
no. Maybe we should. No, we just call it the presidential debate, and the thumbnails me and Mario as.
That's a good idea because
As
election is
presidents,
this year.
the
That'll be
thumbnails,
perfect.
But we don't actually talk about the politics
Can we
because
get a
that's too
podium?
tricky. You in the podium
We
in
just
the
debate
middle,
about, what type of cheese is better
and
for
then
sandwiches. Something like that.
pepper jack all the way.
Provolone.
Hell no. Cheddar
Provolone's
cheese.
pretty good. Ew.
Cheddar. Cheddar.
Yeah.
Cheddar is too heavy.
You gonna put provolone cheese on a hamburger?
I need a provolone.
I mean, you
I
said
want to put
sandwich.
provolone. I'm
Oh,
going
yeah, that's
pepper
right.
jack.
I'll do American for hamburger, but
I'm going pepper jack every route, everything.
Yeah, pepper jack's legit.
but
That
cheddar,
was legitness.
cheddar's a little too heavy. I don't know about cheddar.
See, that's not even a good point though. Too heavy.
I don't know. I guess I use cheddar more for
Ozempic.
like cooking. I guess.
Take Ozempic. You won't have to worry about the cheddar.
Yeah. Well, anyways. So yeah, stay tuned for a debate episode. We're gonna have to do that for real. That'll be funny. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please leave comments. Like I said, we've been enjoying reading y'all's comments for sure. So anybody who's new to this channel, we welcome all the suggestions, comments, any topics. Right, Jinx, that y'all want us to talk about. We're open. So thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching another episode of Legal Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode, you can always give our office a call to schedule your free 30-minute consultation with one of our team members. Check the description below and give us a call today.